Welcome to another edition of the Spurs Chat Podcast, hosted by Chris Cowlin. Chris will be discussing everything Tottenham Hotspur, with special guests, club news, transfer news, legend interviews, match previews, and post-match analysis. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please hit that follow button. And remember to check out the channel sponsors: William Hill, One Football, Live Football on TV, and Zooch Converters. Now, for today's show.
Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. So the transfer window is now officially open in England. Spurs have got 2 deals over the line, and reports have just come out stating that Spurs are close to a 3rd signing. Now, in this episode, I'll be going through all of the week's news with 3 very special guests. Let's introduce them. First up, we've got Lee, the Spurs YouTuber. Lee, how are you?
Yeah, hi Chris. Good to be back. It's been a while since I've been on, but yeah, good to be back. All good.
And we've also got entertainer Gary Maloney with us. Gary, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you? All right, I'm really well, thanks.
Good. And we've also got Richard Whitehead, MBE, with us again. Rich, how are you doing?
Yes, mate. Customary beer in hand, all good. Looking forward to the new season, obviously. Got the shirt on ready. Let's go, boys.
Rich, before we get into today's show, in a couple of weeks, you have got an event going on, Run with Rich. Tell us all about it.
I have, mate. And I think you're signed up, aren't you? Ready to go?
Yeah.
And after your holiday, you're looking nice and trim, so I'm looking forward to seeing your running technique. But yeah, I've got a Run with Rich event on the 25th of June, Home Pierpont in sunny Nottingham. So any Spurs fans that are around Nottinghamshire, East Midlands, come down and enroll. Come on my Instagram or Twitter, and there's a link there. Enroll and come and see me and Chris jog around Home Pierpont.
That'd be good. Looking forward to it. Rich, I want to start the show with you. The Guardian have just released a report stating that Tottenham have agreed a deal to sign Jed Spence from Middlesbrough. Fee for the England under-21 right-back is around £20 million. The 21-year-old was named in the PFA Championship Team of the Year. Your thoughts on this signing?
Yeah, so I know a little bit about, obviously, Jed, Nottingham boy myself. So seeing him last season, coming to the Forest team, transformed the team on that side. Nottingham Forest last season, a very expansive team in the second half of the season. He was part of that, very attacking down that side, always willing to go forward. Obviously, some great displays last year against Arsenal, as well as some of the Premier League sides. Showed his pedigree, very young still, as Chris just said. And I think for me, it shows Spurs' intent for next season. Still going down that developmental side player, but also I think really going after the players that obviously Antonio wants. Antonio wanted him, and I think he's going to be a benefit to the team. I think he might slot straight in. I'm not sure yet. We'll just see what obviously other recruitment strands come in play. But yeah, really exciting player. I think the Spurs fans that haven't seen a lot of him up to this point are going to be surprised. Lots of energy, lots of attitude, and he's going to terrorise some of the teams next season in the Premier League and Champions League.
Oh yes. Lee, let's come to you. Now, if Tottenham do get this signing over the line, that would be our 3rd signing of the summer window so far. And of course, as I said earlier, the window only opened officially in the UK today. Have you been impressed with Tottenham's business so far?
I don't know about impressed. I've been shocked, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting action so quickly in the closed season, but I'm happy. At the end of the day, like we've all said, and I think Conte being Conte, we've all been really excited about what he's managed to do with the team and the squad. So we're all saying if he wants him, I'm happy. Whoever he wants, if that's the player he wants, if he's the person choosing them with Perisic, then I'm all in, mate. I don't care who he wants. He can bring whoever he wants in, and I'll accept it for now. and see how we go from there. But yeah, shocked, but excited to see some real movement, albeit a couple of free signings and a potentially quite a low fee with Spence. But let's see where it goes. I mean, it's early days, isn't it, at this rate?
Are you surprised though, Lee, that we've signed Ivan Perisic, a 33-year-old left wing back, and now it looks like we're going to get this deal over the line for a 21-year-old right wing back? And where do you think that leaves the likes of Matt Doherty and Emerson Royale?
I mean, personally, I've not been a fan of Emerson. I think he got better towards the end of the season, but I struggled with him over the course of time. I still felt he was better than Aurier, who I really didn't like. But I think, one of those guys has got to go. And I think probably Doherty has shown a little bit more to kind of warrant Conte maybe sticking with him. And I think what he likes is the players that are prepared to try, that are prepared to work, that are prepared to go with what he's asking. Doesn't necessarily want someone who's all flair and, all that sort of malarkey. He wants someone who's going to knuckle down and do the business. So for me, I think Doherty's the one who's going to stay. I think Emerson will probably move on. And then that gives us still that bit of balance with Doherty being that bit older, with Spence being younger. I think that gives that balance. And that's why you've got the younger one on the left as well as an older one. And to be honest, I know I'm rambling, but the thing with the 33s, I mean, that's no age, not in today's modern game with the fitness and all the nutrition these guys do. And I think it's one of the things we've always needed is some real experience, and that's what's let other sides down. Mentioning no names, Arsenal. So, I
think Doherty gives us a little bit more versatility. I think I know somebody's really passionate about Doherty, aren't you, Chris? Now you've got a shirt.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive fan, to be honest. I think towards the end of the season, before his injury, he showed that versatility of coming inside and joining up the play a little bit. I think he actually surprised how well he did play. And I think you're right, Lee. I think Doherty will stay. Whether they'll try and cash in on Emerson before his value goes down, I'm not sure.
Gary, let's come to you. As I said there, The Guardian have reported that Tottenham have agreed a deal to buy Jed Spence. What do you make of this deal if it does get done?
Listen, I'm just glad Richard knew a lot about him because I know nothing, to be honest with you. But I've looked at his little reels and stuff, and look, at the end of the day, it boils down to the fact we can all have our opinions. That's what the show's about and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's like what Lee said. I'm just going to trust in Conte. I mean, if he decides he wants to keep Doherty in the team, great. If he decides he wants to get rid of Sanchez, great. What I will say is, even with the players that we had, and we all know the ones we're talking about, you talk about Dyer and Ben Davis and players like that. I mean, we all wanted them out the door, but he has transformed them players. So I'm not a great fan of Royale. I'm not a great fan of Doherty, but who's to say pushing on this season under Conte, they may not get better and may improve. Because, like what Richard said, just before we got that injury, Doherty, he actually wasn't doing too bad. He actually was playing all right. Do you know what I mean? And even Royale, I know it was only the last couple of games or whatever, but also improved. There's some players I personally don't think he can do anything with, and that's like Sanchez. But that, again, that's just my personal opinion. But the bottom line is, Chris, and like we will all agree, if Conte decides he wants 5 in, 5 out, whoever he decides, you have to back him because at the end of the day, that's why he's on the big money. And he hasn't got anything wrong so far, has he?
It's what we've been calling out for, isn't it? That's what we've been calling out for, a manager who's going to make a decision and call the shots and not just Levy trying to boost the income or look for a sell-on or whatever. We want someone who's making a decision about the players they want to play in their system. So,
you're right. And it speaks volumes when Nuno came in and you saw how we deteriorated to when Conte came in and we was in ninth. I mean, I laugh when I say 9th place. I mean, we often joke about it, Chris, when you think, all that travelling, and Lee, we were talking to you at the time with the Europa Conference games. That doesn't seem like the same season. How on earth did Conte come in and we was 9th and we finished 4th with Champions League football? So if he wants to get the tea lady in to sort out injuries, get the tea lady in. I couldn't give a monkeys because he obviously knows what he's doing. It's mental.
We have a magician. That's what it is, Gary.
I know. I generally, all season, Chris, I said the best we was going to achieve is 6. And he outdone what I thought. I'll take my hat off to him because it's almost incredible what he's done. And you know what? Yes, Eric Dyer, I was the first to be screaming at Dyer and Ben Davis and players like that. But, there's some players I don't think can be fixed, like Winks and Sanchez, my personal opinion. But a lot of them other players, I wouldn't mind keeping hold of Royale and Doherty because under Conte, I do think there are players there as well. Do you know what I mean? So
we don't want 5 right wing backs there, do we, mate? We need to move people. I think
there's that as well.
Yeah, I think we need to upskill the side, and if Conte thinks that next season we want to push not just for 4th, 3rd, 2nd, whatever his expectations for the side in the league, then
3rd, I reckon,
he needs to have. Yeah, he needs to have the team. I think Jed Spence, I'm telling you now, quick, dynamic, takes on players, brave, can cross the ball, goes to the byline.
Yeah,
I think Kane's going to have a lot more service with him in the side. He's young. Yes, he's naive, but he's an upgrade on the ones we've got at the moment for sure.
I was going to ask that exact question. I was going to ask that exact question, Rich. For you, does Jed Spence walk straight into this Tottenham Hotspur starting 11 ahead of Matt Doherty and Emerson Royale?
So I've seen comments obviously from the guys that's on at the moment, and I know it's a kind of mixed. I think from what I've seen, it might be a transitional period in the first couple of games, maybe with if Doherty's fit, Doherty might be more of a stable kind of approach in that position. And then Jed will kind of definitely come in and is a future in that position if that's what Conte wants. I think he's seen something in him that he really likes. And that's the same as Ryan, really. Obviously, Conte's kind of gone with Sessegnon and gone, actually, Ryan is a future England player, never mind Spurs starter. He believes in him. He sees something in him. I think Ryan, he needs to be more confident in front of goal. He needs to kind of take those chances. For me, I'm still kind of a little bit. We paid a lot of money for him. He's not really showed that potential yet. I think Jed's going to be slightly different. He's more brave. I think Ryan's more of a confidence player.
Yeah, he seems a bit nervous, like Sanchez, doesn't he? It's weird.
Can I just ask a question about? Sorry, I'm jumping in. I know. Apologies. Can I ask a question about Jed Spence whilst we're talking about him? A lot of things I've seen, people talking about his attitude. I don't know if you know anything about
Warnock.
A lot of people are saying he's got a bad attitude and he's not very good in the changing room, bit of a divisive kind of character. And that's one of the things that I worry about, if true. And I'm not saying it is true, but if true, because that can have such a detrimental effect on the unity of a team and a squad. So, I mean, undoubtedly, someone like Conte would be able to sort that out.
He won't stand for it.
But I just,
do you know, I've got a little bit of background on that. So, one of my close mates, who unfortunately is an Arsenal fan, he actually houses some of the under 23 lads, so he knows a lot about that kind of under 23s, but also some of the younger players that are in the Forest side. And he said Jed's he's a colourful character, is misrepresented in the media. I think what it is the attitude is towards doubters. That's what it is. He's obviously had a lot of knockbacks with Warnock, kind of saying that he's going to waste his talent if he continues how he is. But I think Warnock is not Warnock's kind of player. That's what it was. And Warnock wanted him to play in a certain way, very disciplined, not really kind of going forward with the ball. He wanted him to kind of... Warnock was all about this kind of long ball kind of rubbish when he was manager. And for me, just wasn't kind of his style of player. Yeah. I think discipline-wise, Conte's done his due diligence on Jed Spence for sure. He's been watched on numerous times. I think we'll be fine if he signs.
Fair enough.
Which is
Door on tour, and please do check out his YouTube channel. He's a Nottingham Forest fan and says Spence was great at Forest and needs a good manager around him, and Conte is a good manager to deal with him. For 20 million pounds, I feel that this is an absolute bargain of a player of this quality, and 21 as well, and English.
Yeah, and our friend Lee would tell you stats wise as well, with obviously the goal threat, as well as obviously the kind of penetration it has through the lines, good going forwards, and is disciplined within that back, whether it's back five or whatever position he will play. I think you're right. It's good business for the club if we get it over the line. Also, it's a promising signing to show that the club, yes, are going to go for a different style of signing that kind of fits straight into the team, but also we're still going to look towards these players that are going to be around the team for a long time.
Now, a lot of comments are coming in asking the question, is it confirmed? It is not confirmed as yet. Certainly not by the football club or the likes of Fabrizio Romano, but the deal is very close. Let's hope this does get over the line. Rich, just staying for you for a second. Congratulations, you've just been named as the new patron of Spurs Ability, and also you are modelling the new Tottenham Hotspur home shirt. I want your thoughts on the shirt, and of course, Lee and Gary, give me your thoughts on the new home shirt as well. Rich, let's start with you.
One thing, I'm a Nike ambassador, so obviously it's the best home shirt that we've ever had.
Of course, I agree.
No, I think obviously that the yellow kind of trim at first, sometimes you kind of see it and you go, actually, I'm not really a big fan. It looks great, especially being quite athletic. So you guys will all be fine with a new shirt on for sure. It's white, isn't it? It's white, and I think Spurs are always going to go for that kind of real, kind of distinctive white home shirt that we all love. And the second question about Spurs Ability, I think it's really important that all fans have the platform to come to the stadium, watch the team, whatever disability, gender, sexuality, the fans need to be unified and support the team as one. And really honoured to obviously be asked to be the patron, and I'll be down obviously the club a lot more next season.
Rich,
I've got it, I've not really de-tagged it yet. Good spot, Wayne. Wayne, why are you looking at my armpits?
You didn't nick that out of the shop, did you?
No.
Rich, did you pay for that, or did you just nick it? Did you nick it off the hanger?
It's still got the tag at the back.
I'm not surprised with how much it costs. You probably did rob it, didn't you? I mean, you need a mortgage for these shirts, didn't you?
Mate, that's why I'm a Nike ambassador.
Yeah.
Don't pay for nothing.
Be 110 quid otherwise, wouldn't it? The elite version.
Gary, your thoughts on the shirt?
Listen, the Tottenham shirts, do you know what? It's so funny, right? When the kits come out, I find it quite amusing because whatever kit comes out, I'm always going to get them anyway. I've got 1,000,001 kits, right? Old ones. I prefer the retro ones, right? So I've got ones from years and years ago. I quite like those. But the new kits are never going to please everyone. Everyone always moans there's a bit of red on it because of woolage and X, Y, and Z. But ultimately, I always say to people, I always use this as a comparison. When you're moaning about the shirts, just remember the bruised banana shirt that Arsenal had to wear and them fans, because that is by far the most repulsive shirt ever made for a person to wear. So any shirt we bring out,
they love that.
But they love it because they're Arsenal fans. They don't really love it, like their club and their manager. It's just pretend. It's all nonsense. It's like them saying, "Oh, well, top four, you don't get a trophy. We didn't want top four anyway." Of course you did. Don't give it all that rubbish. Your shirt's crap. Your manager's crap. Anyways, this moved on to Woolwich all of a sudden.
Exactly. I was going to say, I've asked about the shirt, and you're talking about Arsenal again, Gary. Come on.
The shirts, I love the shirts. They're nice. I'm going to get home and away. I'll get the training shirts. I'll wear everything and anything. And probably like all of you, come Christmas and birthday, we're going to get something Tottenham like we always do. So, actually, let me just show you someone modelling a shirt which I had made, which is my cat. I don't know if you can see this.
You need to get a new shirt, though.
Lee, let's come to you. Yeah.
How can I top any of that? You know,
Lee, give me a sensible answer, please. Your thoughts on this season?
Mate, listen, I'm a tight ass, right? I'm a proper yid. I don't buy shirts, but the kids might buy me one for my birthday or Father's Day, that sort of thing. I don't buy them personally. I'm not
a lot of money in it,
but yeah, I mean, I only ever wear them if I'm on holiday. You know, I might wear one round by the pool or whatever, just to wind people up. But you know, what can you do? A plain white shirt. I'm happy with a plain white shirt. I don't care what they do to it, as long as it's plain and white. So bit of a killjoy. Sorry.
Well, Lee, let's stay with you because only a couple of hours ago, Tottenham Hotspur put out an official announcement stating that Cameron Carter-Vickers has now left Spurs. He signed for Celtic on a permanent deal. He said, "I'm so pleased to complete my move to Celtic and I cannot be happier." We understand that the deal is £6 million initially. It could rise to £10 million. I see this as absolutely fantastic business for us because, the amount of money that we've got for him, and let's be honest and frank about it, he wasn't anywhere near the Spurs starting 11, was he?
No, I mean, how long has he been around? He's been around since he's 11. And, he's never got anywhere near it. So, if you can pick 10 million quid up for a player who's never going to play in your team, then it's money for our rope, isn't it? It's money in your pocket, ready to add to the 150 million they reckon we've got invested. So, it's a good bit of business. It's good for him as well, because at the end of the day, he's a player who wants to play football, right? I mean, he's picking up trophies. They might be Mickey Mouse Scottish trophies, but I mean, there's still trophies to him. So, fair play to him. Good luck to the lad. I hope he does well. And if he goes on to better things, fair play to him,
Yeah.
I would never, ever refer to any trophy as Mickey Mouse.
Not even the Aldi Cup.
Just sticking just stirring the pot.
It's the last cup I saw us win. It's the last cup I saw us win, Gary.
I know. Oh, well, this season maybe, eh?
Gary, let's come to you. Thoughts on our brand new signing, Fraser Forster?
Yeah, brilliant. Listen, I think Hugo, he's not going to replace Hugo yet. I think Hugo's probably got, what do we think? 1, maybe 2 more good years in him, I would say. But for a number 2, brilliant, because it just wasn't working with the other ones, was it really? I think he's a good keeper. He'll be good. And let's not forget, look, we're in a lot of competitions when the season starts. So, we've really got to go on a really long, good cup run this season. I mean, look, I'm not expecting us to win the Champions League by any means, but we've got to be pretty much going for 3rd spot and at least looking like we're going to try and win the FA Cup or something. And I think for that, we need a really good number 2 in. And with him, I think we got it. He's good. He's got a bit of European experience. I don't know if we'll use him in the Champions League. I wouldn't have thought so, but who knows?
Got to be for the cups.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think he's going to get a look in Premier League, but also you've got to take into account injuries and stuff like that. You just don't know. There is that to take into account as well. So, a bit of rotation and injuries. I think he's brilliant. And again, amazing deal. And I mean, this all started before today when it, officially opened. So
yeah.
It's been good. It's been positive. I'm happy.
Gary, does he give you more confidence being on the bench than Pierluigi Golini?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't have a massive amount of confidence with Golini, mate. There was a few big mistakes in there. And I know it's unfair, and I don't know if I'm the only one that does this, and it might be because he's a goalkeeper, but there was a lot of soft shots that he let in, and then I would look at that and think, Lloris wouldn't have let that in. Now, I don't know if it's just because he's a goalkeeper, but Chris, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but some of them goals he let in, though, mate, they were soft. They were.
Yeah.
They really were, And I think as Spurs fans, we like to give players and goalkeepers the benefit of the doubt, but he wasn't very good, mate.
He didn't break any fingers at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, did he?
Well, I wasn't going to mention that, mate. You was only 5 minutes in when you broke them fingers.
Rich, let's come to you. Let's move on quickly. Fraser Forster, 34 years old. He's come out and said, when a team like Tottenham comes along, it's impossible to say no. I'm absolutely delighted. A fantastic opportunity for me. I couldn't get here fast enough to get it done. Everything about the place is world class. He then went on to say, I've played almost 50 European games. So if I can come in and help in any way possible, that's what I'll be looking to do. He's got great European experience. What are your thoughts on this signing, Fraser Forster?
So I've met Fraser once when I was doing some work for Virgin Media at the Southampton ground with Ward-Prowse and Rodriguez when he was there. Massive hands, massive stature, commands the goal. The other boys were saying that, like I say, great kind of shot stopper. Completely different to Hugo, actually. I think he's presence-wise, especially on crosses, a lot better than Hugo. He's not as good as Hugo, obviously, with those key shot saves. I don't think he's key in those areas, but he's had 41 clean sheets in the Premier League. So he's obviously, for a team like Southampton, which can be very poor I don't think he's been in a good Southampton team, to be honest. So to have any kind of clean sheets is a miracle. For me, I think he might play a couple of Premier League games, depending obviously on that Wednesday, Sunday kind of rotation. Depending on if we get a big team in the Champions League that Hugo plays Wednesday night, then maybe we have that rotation for that kind of Sunday game, depending obviously on travel, etc. And this is the key for us. We need to, within that kind of first team, last year we had an 11 that literally at the end of the season, we all knew who was going to play. Next season, I think we need to have more players that can kind of slot in, and you've got no worries about the kind of quality of play. And I think that's going to be the case. And I think that's where Fraser, with game experience in pre-season and confidence with the other defenders around him, they will kind of understand what kind of keeper he is, which is slightly different than Hugo. And hopefully, again, the keepers we had last season, I think it was a little bit, they would come in and, the different style of keeping. Also, the guy that we did get in from Torino, was it? Where was he from?
Who's this?
Where was our keeper from? Is it Galini? Where was he from?
Yeah, Galini.
Atalanta, yeah. I think he liked to party a little bit too much, and also he was more about the kind of the atmosphere in the changing room. And for me, I think as a keeper, you need to be reassured with what you're getting at the back.
Yeah. Lee, let's come to you. I fully expected myself that Antonio Conte would bring in experienced players. He's done that in Fraser Forster and, of course, Ivan Perisic, who we've not really spoken about yet. How important do you think that this experience will be coming to Tottenham? Because Ivan Perisic, for me, is a real statement signing. Yes, he's a free transfer. Yes, he's 33 years old, but surely he has got so much to give.
No, absolutely. As I said at the beginning, I think it's one of the things that we've always lacked is that real experience of someone who's been there and done it and won it. And he's considered to be one of the best players in that position. We've always gone for, Ryan Sessegnon, no disrespect to the lad, but he was always brought in for what he's potentially going to achieve and what he can potentially do. And I'm not doubting him as a player. But when you're trying to win trophies, when you're trying to actually, get somewhere, you need players that are going to definitely give you that. You need to buy the best in that position that you can get. Yeah. That's what Liverpool do. That's what Liverpool did. That's what Man City did. That's what Chelsea used to do. That's what Man United do. They don't go out and buy just for the future. They'll go out and buy for the now. Because for us as fans, it's all about now. It's about what happens this season. I don't care what happens in 5 seasons. I might be dead by then. I want to know what's happening now. I want to see us win a trophy now. It's been too long. So get in the players that are going to do it now, because you have to plan for this moment. And I think it's a real change in what we've been doing. But I think it's something that we desperately needed.
Can you believe, though, Lee, a couple of signings in, even before the start of the window even opened?
No, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I did a little video myself, and I'd said, is it August already? Have I missed something? Because it's just unheard of. But I think that's a change in strategy to look up for me. And I've said this before. I think that Conte and this situation that we're in now is a last throw of the dice for ENIC, because they've done it. There's always been an excuse. Oh, we're building a stadium. Oh, we're in transition. Or, this has happened or that's happened or whatever. There's always an excuse. They've got no excuse now. They've got the stadium. They've got the training facilities. They've got the world-class manager. Now they've got to deliver, because if they can't keep Conte happy, where do they go from there? Where do they go? You've got to go some way to get above the quality of someone like Conte as your manager. And if you're not going to back Conte, then what's to say you're going to back the next best thing, So for me, I feel like it's only downwards after that, and unless you really go for it. So for me, roll of the dice,
Have you got a good feeling about this window, though, Lee?
I have for the first time. For a long. Normally, I don't really get involved in it. I kind of try to switch off and go until I see them holding up the shirt. I'm not really interested,
Yeah, same.
But now I'm thinking, if this work is being done by Perisic and it's being done by Conte and they're building what they want for the now, I'm all in. I've got to be all in on that, because what else is left? What else is left? I mean, I've been doing this, watching this football for so many years. You really want to see some kind of end product coming in.
Yeah, and I think we all know, don't we? We all know the positions that need those upgrades, and we need to have some real warriors in the team, like the Højbjergs in the team that are really going to fight for the shirt. We need that. And in the past, we've had players that have come in and that have not actually done that. They've kind of deceived us with the kind of the past performances. But I think now the kind of Kulicheskis of this world that come in, that kind of before they even play, they're saying they want to fight like tooth and bone for the club. It's brilliant, and I think that's what we're going to get with Perisic. Obviously, we know his pedigree in the big games, and that's what we're going to get. And Conte's worked with him before. I think what we're going to get in this window is not so many gambles. There'll be players that Conte's either worked with, either have got that experience in the Premier League, or that the club's been tracking for an amount of time. I think Jed Spence probably the exception to that. And I think what's happened there is obviously he's been scouted all this season. He's been seeing what he's actually done against the top clubs. And that's where he's going to slot into our side.
I think he can see a player, right? Sorry, Chris. He can see a player. He must be able to see it. If we see it, we see where the positions are that are a problem and who's not working and all the rest of it. Yeah, if you're getting paid that money and you've been around football all your career, you're going to see that. Sorry, Chris. I know I'm jumping.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No problem. Gary, let's come to you, because I want to talk about Christian Eriksen. There has been so much speculation about him possibly be coming back to the club. Would you like to see him return to Tottenham Hotspur?
I don't think you're going to like my answer here, Chris, because I know you're a big fan of Christian Eriksen. So I'm going to have to upset the apple cart here. For me, let me answer it in a different way. Me personally, I wouldn't want to get Christian Eriksen back, okay? But if Conte wants Christian Eriksen back, great. But if you're asking me, the problem is with me, and Tottenham are very guilty of it. They're this sentimental club where they go back, and I get it. They've done it with Bell, and I'm a big Bell fan. And if Conte said, I want Bell and Eriksen back, happy days. But for me, it just feels a bit like, before Bell left, he scored right up until he left, and he was really going for it, and he was playing. With Eriksen, he sort of down tools a bit. And for me, the way he left and the way it ended with Eriksen, I just didn't feel. I know you. I knew this was going to happen. What's going on?
No. Let me put it this way, right? If Christian Eriksen had never ever played for Spurs, I would still want him at the club right now, because I think that he brings improvement. I think that he brings real quality. He's been there, done it. He's worked with Antonio Conte as well. Fantastic in the dressing room. He knows most of the Tottenham Hotspur players. And remember as well that from the start of next season, we can have 5 subs, which I just think that if he's not in the starting 11, what a sub to bring on. And a free transfer as well.
Yeah, free transfer. What a sub to bring on. He was with Tottenham before. His first few years, he was great. I get all of that. All I will say, do you remember when he was on corners?
This time he's under Antonio Conte there, Gary.
Right, and that's what I said. So if Antonio Conte brings Eriksen back, then I will back him. But if you're asking my opinion, if you could have Christian Eriksen, or could you go out and get, we've just got, the young fella in Forest, blah, blah, I would rather do that than go back to a player we've had before. And look, what happened to Christian Eriksen was horrendous, and thank God he pulled through and everything else. But hypothetically, if all that didn't happen, would he have gone to Brentford? And would we be looking at bringing him back anyway? Look, it's just my personal opinion. It doesn't sit right with me saying, let's bring Eriksen back. But if Conte wants him, happy days. Do I think he's going to be a better Christian Eriksen than when he left last time around? Probably not. Could Conte maybe improve him to how he was just before he left Tottenham? Probably yes.
Richard Lee, give me a quick yes or no on Christian Eriksen, because we've got so much to get through.
Oh, I think, Eriksen for me, no-brainer. Quality, runs the team. I think you're right with 5 substitutes, a free transfer. His experience, like I say, knows the club, knows what it's like to wear the shirt, knows what the expectation of the fans are. For me, yes.
Lee?
I'm going to upset you because I'm with Gary.
Oh, thank God someone is.
I'm with
Thank
Gary.
you, Lee. Thank you.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved Christian Eriksen. He was a
Same.
fantastic player for us. But like Gary said, at the end, he was down in tools and that. If, as you say, if what happened to him hadn't happened, would he be looking at coming back to Tottenham at any point, or would he be looking at, can I get into a Chelsea team? Can I get into a Liverpool team? Can I? I'm not saying he can, but
that's it.
Would they be going after him or whatever? On the flip side to that, we desperately need someone who's creative as an option on the bench for sure, right?
Yeah.
But whether that needs to be Christian Eriksen or not, I don't know. But as Gary said, if Conte wants him, I'll take him. But for me, if he was asking me,
worked with Conte before,
I'd say no.
Lee, let me put it another way. How much money would you need to spend in order to get a player like Christian Eriksen in?
I don't know. I'm no expert.
30 mil.
You're going to be paying a lot. You're going to be paying a lot of money. I get it. But does that mean that you've got to pay? You've got to take whoever you can because they're free and they're cheap?
No, it's about players that are ready now. It's about players that are working extremely hard now, know exactly what is expected of them from a coach like Antonio Conte. He's worked with him before. He knows exactly what's expected. He knows exactly what it's like on the training pitch and in the dressing room, etc. And I just think that it is a no-brainer, as Rich said.
I don't know. I think there's a bit of sentimental stuff there, Chris, with you.
Listen. You should never make emotional decisions. Understood, but then, like Chris was saying about money-wise, to get that kind of quality in that position, 30 million, you ain't getting a player like Eriksen. I'm thinking you're getting £60 million. You're getting a player that probably hasn't even got that experience in the Premier League, but has got that quality. Christian Eriksen can run a game.
Is he going to run that? Is he going to run that game the way he does?
Sure. You look at how he plays for Denmark. He runs the games for Denmark. They battered Chelsea. Brentford battered Chelsea. In that game, I watched it and went, that is as good as when Eriksen was at his best for Spurs. Unbelievable.
But he's got to come back. For me, he's got to come back and do that. I don't want him to come back just as a sentimental. Oh, it's Christian Eriksen. Look at what he did.
For sure.
I don't want that. I want.
He's only 30 as well. He's only 30.
If Christian Eriksen
is the problem is. Yeah, this one just it kind of frustrates me a little bit because I get what you're saying, Richard, and you, Chris. I get that, and people are saying, "Oh, look how good." I've got Brentford fans, mates who are Brentford fans and stuff. But Christian Eriksen playing for Brentford after what's happened to him and coming back is not going to necessarily be the same Christian Eriksen when he goes back to Tottenham, when he didn't want anything to do with Tottenham, when he left and he down tools. So we just need to be a little bit open-minded and not look at what Christian Eriksen is doing now. Because before he wasn't doing it. And just because he's doing it now with Brentford doesn't mean he's going to do it when he comes back to Tottenham. So let's just be, with our eyes open. But I agree with Chris and Richard. If Conte wants him, I will fully back it. But do I expect him to come back and be like the Christian Eriksen of old? No, I don't. And I don't think he'll ever be that Christian Eriksen again. But that's just my opinion. And that's what this show's about. But I would take Bell over him.
I wasn't even going to go there.
No.
I don't think that's going to happen. Gary,
no, I think that's the player you bring on and he changes the game. I don't think when you bring Eriksen on, he changes the game. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, some of us are right and some of them are wrong.
What do you lot think?
I'm going to move on now. Rick, let's come to you. We spoke off air about the deal for Bastoni. It looks like the deal is now off. But from what we understand, Tottenham have not actually put in an official bid for him. What do you make of this situation?
Again, Conte's somebody that really does go after his signings, doesn't he? So he's identified him as his number one target in that position. And he kind of sees him in the team next year. And whether that deal's dead or not, whether Conte's got the ability to reignite that transfer, again for me, I'm not sure how close Conte is to that situation. It's somebody that before that I'd seen a little bit of him in a defensive sense as well as in an attacking sense. He's obviously amazing on the ball, can distribute the ball really well. has that attacking presence as well. For me, a young, kind of really enthusiastic player like Romero is going to get stuck in. And if Conte can work his magic, then that's going to be another player. I imagine getting a signing like Romero coming to the league. Like other teams are salivating over Romero, like comparing him to the impact that Van Dijk had when he went to Liverpool. They were going, and passion, like diving into tackles and always getting them right. And teams are going, how is he doing that? His timing is impeccable.
Brilliant.
And if we can get that over the line, Inter Milan will be a bit pissed, obviously, because they really want him. But for me, I'm just not sure how much influence Conte's got still at Inter Milan and whether he can really get his player. I'd want him to. Point. I'm not sure.
Rich, lots of reports as well that Spurs are in talks with Villarreal over a move for Pau Torres with Giovanni Lo Celso going the other way. Your thoughts on Torres?
I really like him. Again, tall, athletic. He would be great for Spurs. Not as reliable as the other centre backs that we've been put in for. I think it's really important to think that we can't be going for every player. We need to kind of players when you're going for a target. If you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket and then that doesn't come off, that's obviously gutting. But if you're going for lots of players and that individual needs to really buy into Spurs, you don't want to be going kind of just half-arsing it with somebody and then go, actually, we've not got our main target now, we're going to go in for somebody else. For me, we need to kind of really look at those main targets in those positions, go for them, show our intent. We've got, like Lee was saying before, we've got this 150 million. Really utilise that money in the right areas and show that we can be competitive in the Champions League and really go for the Premier League as well. Like we were competitive against the top 4 teams last year. We weren't consistent away from home, and we need to from the start of the season we need to really go after the Premier League.
That's the other thing, actually. I forgot to say that Christian Eriksen's got vast experience in the Champions League, which we could do with.
Gary's not having it. It's all right. Gary's not having
it. He's not going to let it go, Chris. I'll tell you. He's not going to let it go.
Lee, let's come to you. Now, there have been so many media reports out stating that Spurs are looking for a left-sided centre-back, Bastoni being the number 1 target for Antonio Conte. Is this a little bit unfair on Ben Davies, particularly after the season that he's had?
No, I don't necessarily see it that way. I think that given that there is, the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. Right?
Yeah, agreed.
The biggest thing that we've had last season is lack of depth. So, I absolutely applaud Ben Davies. I think he's been one of our most improved players under Conte. I think from day one, you could see the desire and the effort that he was putting in, breaking forwards, grabbing a couple of goals this season and so on.
Good for Wales as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was just going to say the same. His performance for Wales the other weekend was amazing. So, I absolutely don't see that as the end for Ben Davies. By bringing someone else in, what I see is an opportunity for Ben Davies to continue to get better and to play, lots of games. But maybe it'll be a little bit more, in the cup games, Champions League, that kind of stuff. And they're bringing someone else in to have that depth, and that's that for me is where we need. You need 2 good players for every position. You need to look at that bench and go, if I've got an injury there, I can bring this guy on. He plays in the same way and he's just as good. That's what you need. You don't want to be looking over there and seeing, an under-21 player sitting on the bench looking nervous because they've never played. That's not what you need. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against youngsters coming through because I love that. I love proper homegrown players. But at the same time, like I said earlier, it's all about the now, And I just think 2 good players in every position that you can count on is where we should be looking. So I don't fear for Ben Davies.
No, you might find that he actually starts as well next year.
Yeah, and they don't have to be world-class players. They've got some good players. I mean, I think we're lucky this season. Son and Kane didn't get injured. I mean, things would be very different if they had. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think you need amazing world-class players. I think if you gel as a team, January was the difference for us. I mean, bringing in them two boys in January is what made us get fourth spot. I think if we hadn't have brought them in, I think probably Woolwich would have probably picked us. But we strengthened in January, and there wasn't a great deal said about them. There was stuff being thrown around. They were rejects and God knows what. Do you know what I mean? And they were absolutely amazing. So I just think it's just
was awesome.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But I saw all sorts of they're rejects and they're this and they're that. And at the end of the day, if you've got two world-class players in your team, which we have, and then you just get some good dependable players, and we're gonna like what Lee said, we've got the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, we're in the Champions League, we've got the Premier League. We want to push for, I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but we definitely want to, no offence, babe, but we want to push for Chelsea and try and get third spot. That's where we want to be looking. We need to be, our squad needs to be deep and have those players, which we haven't really had. Going right back to Poch, it's the same old story. We didn't strengthen and X, Y, and Z. But I don't think any of those mistakes are going to happen with Conte. So, Chris, if he wants to bring in Eriksen, I will give it my blessing.
Brilliant. Glad to hear it. Well, all three of you are channel regulars. And how many times have you heard me say the words that, who should be taking the Spurs free kick? The amount of times I spoke about free kicks, because Harry Kane has constantly been on the free kicks. I can't even remember the last one he scored. It must have been one of the first ones he took, Aston Villa away, when Adebayor was still in the team. But Heung-Min Son in the last couple of days was on his international duty with South Korea. Chile the other day, top right. Paraguay earlier today, top left. Two fantastic free kicks. Gary, have you seen both of these goals?
I've seen all of them. And listen, I was the one screaming and shouting at all the games when Eric Dyer was walking up to. I mean, Eric Dyer was probably slightly better than Harry Kane. I think there was one where it came off the crossbar with Eric Dyer, wasn't there? But ultimately, none of them are any good. And I used to think to myself, why is Son or even Moura for that, for more point, not taking the free kicks? I mean, listen, I'd want to get him Prowse for free kicks. We all would want him. Whether or not we're going to get him is another thing. But Son, put Sonny on him. I don't understand it. I mean, he was all right. I think Eriksen got one or two, but he wasn't great with free kicks either, was he? Let's be honest. I
remember a couple of fantastic free kicks at Swansea.
Yeah, but he wasn't amazing with free kicks, but he was all right. But put Son on free kicks. But what conversation happens, Chris, before they're lining up to free kicks? Does someone not turn around and say, hang on, Harry, listen, you're amazing. You set up play, you're passing, you're on the ball, you're finishing, but free kicks your pants, mate. Just
no. The interesting thing, Heung-Min Son has only ever scored one free kick for Spurs, and that was earlier on last season against Watford under Nuno.
The one straight through. Yeah,
and it was basically a cross in that ended up going in the back of the net. But when you're 20, 25 yards out, Rich, let's come to you on this now. Surely Heung-Min Son has got to be lining these up for Tottenham now.
Yeah, well, I think it was his audition for that position, wasn't it, over last week? Obviously, that's like I say, top left, top right, postage stamp, free kick.
Dyer, Eric Dyer. Oh God. Sorry,
I think for me, I think he at that range. I think Son is because of his accuracy and obviously left foot, like right foot. I think it's key for him to be taking them a little bit further out. Then you need somebody like an Eriksen.
All the Eriksen ones.
One's got to wind up.
I'm not going to hear the end of this. It's going to be Eriksen this, Eriksen that. Watch.
Mate, I'm sending you an Eriksen shirt after we finish.
Listen, I just want to make it. I'm not anti-Eriksen. I loved him when he was at Tottenham. All right, I'm not anti-Eriksen or anything. All right.
Stand up for what you believe in, Gary. Don't
exactly. I won't. No.
Lee, just a quick word on Heung-Min Son's free kicks for South Korea. Have you seen these two goals recently?
I have. I only very quickly on pointing out a screen actually on Twitter. I've seen a couple of them. Amazing. I didn't realise he could do free kicks like that. But then when you look at how poor Eriksen was on corners, and we brought Sonny in bringing corners in, and we've started scoring goals on corners. So
good point actually. Yeah, good point.
I've got a lot of them, Gary. Don't worry. I've got your back, mate.
Cheers, Lee. Thanks, mate.
Lee, let's stay with you. Jamie writes on the screen, let Ivan Perisic take the free kicks and corners. Would you expect him to come in and take that role?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think they've already got that sorted out. Sonny's our corner taking personality, so I don't think he's going to come in and take it off him. I don't think he'll do that. Not unless there's a situation where Sonny ain't playing for whatever reason, and he might be out of flex his muscles and go, I'm taking it. I don't know. But I can't see it.
Gary, let's come to you. I want to keep talking about Heung-Min Son because the PFA Team of the Year was announced.
Don't start me off.
Now, I'm very angry about this because how on earth Heung-Min Son is not in this 11? And this is a vote by fellow professionals, by the players. Yeah. This is their vote. And Heung-Min Son, with 23 goals, no penalties throughout the whole of the season, Golden Boot winner along with Mo Salah. How on earth is Heung-Min Son not in this 11?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I
racist.
Think, it is. I just can't think other than that. If he was an English player or whatever, I think because look, by far he's the best Asian player in the world. End of. That's it done. Right. He's world class. You think about the amount of goals he scored, no penalties, and he's taking corners for Tottenham, and he still scored that many goals. And our out-and-out striker is Harry Kane. Ronaldo, look, he scored a hat-trick against us. I'm not going to take it away from him. But again, they finished in the Europa League position, okay? Salah, second half of the season, pants. Mane, don't even get me started on that load of rubbish. I don't know, but I just think the agenda doesn't fit. And partly of that is because of Son. And I think partly that is because it's Tottenham Hotspur. And we just have to face that. We're not very, we're not liked as a club, as a fan base. And Son isn't liked as a player. But guess what? That's fine with me because Son is loyal to us like we are loyal to him as fans. It's just unfortunate he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. And, not just that, but all the other ones, it's just an absolute joke. Every single award that comes out and you think to yourself, what does he have to do?
Yeah.
It's just, honestly, Chris, it really wound me up earlier. It really, really wound me up. But again, I like what Lee said. I think he's got to be the best Asian player ever. Right. And we're listen, to have Son, I've said, Chris, you've said it many a time. He's both our favourite player. And we love Harry Kane. And we love the new guys that have come in. Kulusevski, I've got that coming with his name on the back. I love him. But Son is different class. And yes, he does go missing the odd game here and there. But one thing about Son, I know all you guys have probably seen the documentary of him, is he gives 110% every game. He's not a Jack Grealish going out getting wasted and X, Y, and Z. He eats, sleeps, breathes football and Tottenham. And I
think that could be a reason. I think that could be a reason, Gary. I think because
it could be
because he's really understated. He keeps his head down. He's a professional. He works hard. That's not what all these other people like. And it's the same with Harry Kane. He gets so much disrespect because of how professional he is and what a good player he is and how he behaves. And I think with Sonny, he's understated. And I think he goes under the radar, and they've not thought of it. To be honest,
I think you're right. But I know Son had a little bit to say on it, and I thought, good for you, mate, because he tends to say nothing and keep really quiet. But he came out and said his little piece, and I think, good, I'm glad you said that, because I find it almost it kind of goes on to just ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous, isn't it? When you think to yourself, how on earth has Ronaldo and Mane and Salah and who else? There was some very, very peculiar choices in there.
I'll read the list. It was Alisson in goal, and in the back four of Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Rudiger, Cancelo. In midfield, Thiago, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and then the forward three is Salah, Ronaldo, Mane.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'll take
for me. I think Ronaldo wasn't consistent over the season.
No,
he had some obviously world class performances.
One against us.
Clearly, and I think the consistency thing for me should have been key. Sonny consistently played well, really in different positions.
Annoying.
He's playing in that wide position, and then getting all those kind of goals. Also, his finishing is massively improved, left foot, right foot, and one-on-one. I don't think you'd want anybody else in the league. I don't think you'd want there's him and Mo Salah, obviously, but I don't think you'd want anybody else. And the passion that he shows for the club, that should have been recognised as well with the players. But because he's understated, like you say.
Do you know what? Like you both said it, and Lee said it as well. I mean, you can't even use the excuse what people tend to use. Oh, well, you know, he didn't get it because he's in a Tottenham Hotspur team and, you know, they've only finished 7th or 8th or whatever. I mean, Man United finished 6th, for Christ's sake. You know, they're in the Europa Conference. We've got Champions League football. He's won the Golden Boot. I mean, I just can't. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But the problem is, you have to be a little bit like Son, and you just have to dust your shoulders and just carry on next season. But as a fan, Chris, and God, you're a bigger fan than anyone when it comes to Tottenham, I know that would have really wound you up because it wound me up, you know. And you think to yourself, okay, all right, you've got the likes of De Bruyne and Salah and Mane, and you can say, okay, they're in big teams and all that. But Ronaldo, then, how does that work then? That makes no sense if you're going by where the clubs have finished and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Robbie Keane, Spurs legend, said he was shocked, the most underrated player in the Premier League, and Heung-Min Son could play for any team in the world. Lee, let's come to you.
Robbie Keane.
I'd like to talk about Harry Kane. 50 goals now for England in 71 appearances, 3 away from equaling Wayne Rooney's record, 4 away from beating it. Surely Harry Kane is going to absolutely annihilate this record and go on to score many goals for England.
Oh, mate, honestly, the disrespect that has come out over this situation is just galling. You know, I look at some of the comments that some of these so-called football fans talk about, and you just think to yourself, it's just nonsense. It's just so biased, like we were talking about a minute ago. But, you know, to be able to have got to that amount of goals as quickly as he has, you know, is unbelievable. And why would you not want him to break that record? Bearing in mind, we're talking about overtaking Bobby Charlton, right?
Yeah.
How long ago did Bobby Charlton stop playing football, right? And that record stood all that time. And you've had the likes of Lineker and all those players that have got close. Michael Owen, who started really young and we thought was going to be the one to break it. You know, for him to be up there, right behind Wayne Rooney, you know, he's got to smash it. And for me, I hope he does. But I hope he does it in the tournament. I hope he does it in the World Cup and puts it to bed for once and for all. Because they talk about penalties. Oh, he scored 15 penalties or whatever it is. You've still got to put them in the back of the net. Right? Yeah. You've still got to put them in the back of the net. And nobody does that better than Harry Kane. When he steps up, you know it's going in. Right. So the disrespect, I think, for Harry Kane as a person is absolutely disgraceful, in my opinion. I think he's absolutely proven his doubt was wrong time and time again.
Lee, do you think it's because he's Tottenham player? Do you think some of that with Son and Kane is because I don't know if that's me being paranoid, but you think that's a Tottenham Hotspur thing, do you think?
No, I mean, you think, you know, we're Arsenal's biggest rival, we're Chelsea's biggest rival, we're West Ham's biggest rival. Right, so we live in rent-free in their head. Leicester don't like us. Southampton don't like us. You know what I mean? It don't matter who you are. You know, they don't like us. I love that. I don't care. I'm glad they don't like us because I don't like you either.
But I find that with Sky Sports News, sometimes I've just got to turn the sound down because they're so biased and anti-Tottenham. I remember when we spanked Man U 6-1 and it was all about how rubbish Man U was. There was nothing about how good Tottenham played. But so frustrating.
But ain't this why, you know, I know I'm going off subject, but ain't this why things like this YouTubes and live channels and fan debates and all that are on the rise, and people are more likely to tune in and listen to idiots like me talking because
it's real life opinions.
You're talking about your club, the club that you love, whereas you've got idiots, you know, with their agendas and all that. You know, Souness. I mean, when did he? How is he still relevant? You know,
Souness, this is because it didn't work at Tottenham and we threw him out. This is what the problem is with Souness. He's got a grudge against Spurs, honestly. He played, all of 5 games for us. It annoys me, man. Really does wind me up.
Gary, let's come to you. Reports this week have been published stating that Lucas Moura could leave the club, or Lucas Moura has actually come out himself and said that he will leave the club either next summer or the summer after, 23 or 24. But reports are stating that if we received a bid for around 12 to 15 million, we could indeed sell him this summer. Your thoughts on the possible departure of Moura?
Yeah, sell him. I mean, sorry, you'll probably say no, keep him because of what he done in the Champions League semi-final. But I think it's done now with
Don't
Moura.
guess my answers.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say again, you probably ain't going to agree with me. But listen, we're all going to remember that, semi-final for the rest of our lives. It's amazing. But listen, at the end of the day, you can't live off the back of that forever. And unfortunately, too many times, Moura just hasn't got it. He can do some good runs, good touches here and there, but 9 times out of 10, he's going into brick walls. I'm sorry. I just feel maybe it's the time for Moura to go. And listen, look, I love him for us getting to a Champions League final. Yes, maybe he should have played in the final and Poch messed up there and X, Y, and Z. But ultimately, it's been 3 years since then and he hasn't really done a great deal. So for me personally, if Moura's one of them players out, then I'm happy with that. I don't know about you guys. You might not agree with me, but that's my opinion on Moura.
I think for me, it just depends on if we get an upgrade in that position. And like Chris has obviously said before, and I think Luca in the chat had said, with 5 substitutes, you've got to, obviously those players have got to kind of come on and add something. I think Lucas, like you say, he's not really shown anything in the last season and a half. That's added a lot to the team. I think I've been a little bit when he's come on. He's obviously he's passionate about his position and he's passionate about but does he actually? Bergwijn offers a better goal threat than Lucas.
Yeah, does. I would keep Bergwijn out over Moura.
He's obviously and I probably do agree with you there. But it looks like he's
gone.
And I would say if we could get an upgrade on Lucas now. I remember speaking to Lee McQueen about this, and he was like, "Yeah, we need to kind of get rid of him now. Like, don't be kind of thinking emotionally about this. Cash in if we get 15 million, good business for the club, and then upgrade and get somebody like younger, that's passionate, that's kind of got a lot more energy, but also a better finisher."
I agree with that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah. I was going to say, going back to your point about being sentimental, I think it's time to. Not all of this, sentimental stuff on the head. And, we need to be ruthless as a football club now. And with Conte in charge, we've got to make major changes if we are going to win any trophies. And of course, how many times I'll say that? They are so overdue. Rich, I just want to come back to you on many links, especially today, reports linking us again with Weston McKennie, USA international, of course, plays for Juventus, box-to-box midfielder, defensive midfielder.
Conte likes him, doesn't he?
Yeah, Conte likes him. Fabio Capacci likes him as well. And do you think that's a signing that we could possibly get over the line, particularly that he's a Juventus player?
He's an interesting player as well. I've kind of seen some bits of him as well over the last couple of seasons, and high work rate. Again, a player that I like because of he kind of joins up the play from midfield to the strikers, goal threat, strong in the air, lots of energy, kind of Kulusevski kind of energy. And if Conte wants him, then obviously let's go for him. You've got to believe in Conte, but I definitely agree with you regarding sentimental wise. If they are not good enough, if Conte says next year we need to be pushing for top 3 or challenging for the Premier League, and the players that we've got now are not good enough to do that, then that's when you need to get rid of them. We need to do that, and we need to be ruthless, because if not, we're always going to be this team that's still kind of sticking with players like Harry Winks because he's come through the ranks.
Yeah,
and that's what needs to not happen. If they're not good enough and they're not in the plans, and we believe in Conte for the next 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, we need to kind of go all out for it now. Play for the now, build for the future.
Yeah, agreed.
Lee, let's come to you. In less than 5 weeks' time, we play our first pre-season friendly in South Korea against Team K-League on the 13th of July. 3 days later, we play against Sevilla, a reunion with former Tottenham Hotspur star Eric Lamela. On the 23rd of July, we play Glasgow Rangers. And then on the 30th of July, in Israel, we play Italian club and against Roma, and of course, against former manager Jose Mourinho. So Team K-League, Sevilla, Rangers and Roma. Good test for Spurs in pre-season for you?
Yeah, I think so. At the end of the day, you've got I guess from a club point of view, they've got to try to spread their wings and get the team out there and so on. And the Asian market is so massive, you know, and if they're producing players like Son, you know, when's the next one going to come? So I think you've got to be spreading your wings out that way and seeing it, you know. The Sevilla thing, I think, is probably due to the signings and all the rest of it, and they're probably trying to do a similar thing. I don't want us to go out getting battered by teams or whatever. You want to build confidence and stuff, and all of those teams should be teams that should give us a decent enough game, but for us not to kill our confidence or anything like that going into the season. So, yeah, you know, why not? Why not? Good options. I'd have liked to have gone to the Israel one, but I'm not going till next year, so it's a bit of a shame.
I was going to say, Lee, do you remember Spurs used to have friendlies of the likes of Leyton Orient and Oxford and Colchester and places like that, and they were going all around the world for pre-season friendlies?
Yeah, I mean that's because it's such an international worldwide thing now, isn't it? And we got supporters clubs all over the world. You know, I mean, you go to Tottenham and the supporters that Sonny has brought in, whether you like it or not, you know, it's great for the club. It's great for the support, and those the ones that the Korean people that I've met sat next to me and stuff in the stadium have been fantastic. Love the club, want to get involved. Great atmosphere and everything else. You know, proper supporters. So yeah, for me, whatever we need to do, it's one of them things now. Unfortunately, you can't get away from the finances. It's what we need to be able to push on.
Now, one thing that really excites me, and that is when the Premier League fixtures come out, and we are less than a week away until that happens now. On Thursday, 9 a.m. next week, the Premier League fixtures will be announced. Gary, let's start with you. I'll go around to all three of you. Who would you like, in an ideal world, who would you like on the opening day of the season? And, feel free to give me the first 3 or 4 fixtures that you would like at the start.
Well, I don't know. I think Nottingham Forest jumps into my mind, so I wouldn't mind playing Nottingham Forest for the first game.
Do you know what? Do you know what? That's so weird. That is my prediction. Nottingham Forest away, opening day of the season. That's my prediction.
I think that will be our first game of the season. Nottingham Forest away. I do think. I would just want anyone but Arsenal. I don't think I could cope with having that first game of the season. And has that ever happened? I don't think it ever has it?
What's that, Gary?
Arsenal was the first game of the season. That has never ever happened in history, has it?
Nah.
Never. I can't ever remember that. But that would be the one game I wouldn't want. And after that, listen, I'm quite happy to kick off Forest away and then get a nice home game. Doesn't really matter who it's against. I just don't want Arsenal too early on. I like to get a few weeks out of the way and then play Arsenal. And I'd like to play Arsenal away and then at home, obviously.
Rich, what's your prediction?
Well, I wouldn't want... I think historically, the teams that come up, the first couple of games, they always do really well with the atmosphere, the kind of expectation.
Yeah,
I would go with City. I think again, I'd love City because we always play well against City.
Yeah, we always do actually. Yeah, great first game of season that was. Yeah,
City home or away. I think I take them home or away and just kind of. Just show intent. We need show intent from game one.
Yeah.
Any team apart from Liverpool, I'd take probably.
Right, you, Lee?
Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to play a team where we're almost guaranteed 3 points at the start. So Man City really would be my choice. Man City at home for an easy 3 points. You know, no, I mean. You know, it's a lottery and it doesn't matter who you get. But I think like Richard has said, you know, the teams coming up will usually be on a fly. They'll be playing on adrenaline. They've got something to prove. Their fans are going to be up for it. So you don't really want to have to take them on straight away.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Definitely not Forest.
That's a good one, though. Chelsea at home, first game of the season. I think that would be a good one, you know. We'd be well up for that, wouldn't we, though?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting Liverpool out of the way nice and early, if I'm honest, because that's a game I never look forward to. And
we should have won both games, isn't it?
I'd rather it be one of those games that you can kind of go, well, it's just first game of the season, it's out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, if it goes the way you don't want it to, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I quite like to get that out of the way. I don't like playing them like we did this season, right at the end of the season where there was a lot.
But do you know what, though? How unlucky was we not to beat them home and away? That's so unlucky, weren't we?
Yeah, both
should have won both of them. Like, so
Yeah,
you
we
know,
played
and I
really
know
well
our
in those
record-
games.
I know our record at Anfield is terrible, but generally we don't always have a good game. But we played really good this season, man. So
Well, they always get some kind of lucky goal, don't they? They always get something
deflection.
goes their way. Something like that always seems to go
But
against us.
I mean, ultimately, we did cost them the league, though.
Yeah. Well, can we just answer Kevin's question here on screen? Who would you like to have in the Champions League group? In my opinion, I want the best possible teams because when you play in the Champions League, I want to be playing and visiting the best teams in the competition. Gary, what about you?
Oh, mate, 100%. I think I've had enough of Ren and Vitesse, and don't even get me started, mate. Don't even get me started on them.
I'll tell you that trip to Pacos de Ferreira seems like a long time ago.
Oh dear. Do you know what I mean? Yes, the biggest clubs were the most easiest ways to get there and get back in a nice hotel, not like hitchhiking for all on 10 hours and God knows in the middle of nowhere. So for me, the biggest clubs, and that's what the Champions League is all about. You know, you want to play in the Real Madrids and stuff. That's why we go for it. That's why we're in it. So it's not about dodging any of the teams. You just want to get the big teams and just crack on. Because if you're going to win it,
Actually, Kevin's written another comment. Not Bayern Munich. I agree. Let's just avoid Bayern Munich.
Yeah, they battles. Yeah.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah, no, look, just all the big clubs I'd have all day long because they're a million miles above of Europa Conference clubs, as you well know. So,
Rich, who would you like in the Champions League?
I think I'd like maybe Inter. I think I'd like. I think Conte has something to prove there against his old team. I think Inter Milan, maybe Porto, something like that. Not what's name though. I think definitely not the German teams. And as strong as we can. Champions League is all about going up against the best.
Yeah.
And Conte, I think Conte wants that. That excites him. Champions League, I think we're going to get out of the group stage, whoever we get. I'm confident that a Wednesday night game. Imagine a Wednesday night game with the kind of atmosphere that we had against Arsenal.
Oh, that was great, wasn't it?
Every week.
That was some atmosphere, that one, wasn't it?
Will be epic, yeah.
Yeah, that was
amazing.
Get
your flight to Istanbul, Rich. That's all I'll say.
I know. I'm going to, mate. I'm going to not.
Well, Wesley writes on the screen here, are you glad you're not going to Burnley away anymore? Absolutely am.
On Thursday night. On the Thursday night in the rain, yeah?
Yes. or even in the snow and then it gets postponed. Good grief.
Oh, God, yeah.
Lee, let's come to you. Last couple of questions now. Now, the last Premier League game will take place on the 12th of November before the international break for the World Cup. And then the Premier League will then resume on Boxing Day, 26th of December. As a season ticket holder at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Lee, how are you going to feel during that time? It is going to feel weird, isn't it?
It's going to be pants, isn't it? And again, I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm not an international football fan, right? I don't watch it generally.
The World Cup? Surely the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup, I will watch it. The Euros, I'll watch it. But any of the other stuff, I'm not really that bothered about. And I only watch it because it's the only football that's on. Because I find I've not been excited about England since
and Kane's
Euro
playing.
96.
Yeah.
Euro 96 was it for me. The atmosphere and everything then. And that's it. So Italian 90 was another good one.
Can I make a comment about that as well? Do you think recruitment-wise, they'll look at, because a lot of the players that after the tournaments have really suffered with their form for 2 or 3 months after, whether the board look at some of the teams that haven't qualified and look at the talent there and go, actually, we might fill some of those spaces, maybe not in that first team, but on the bench, of players that potentially have not got that kind of World Cup fatigue that can propel us through that Boxing Day into New Year period. I just think that might be really key to actually a strong finish to the season. Yeah.
Well, that could possibly be, Rich, one of the busiest January transfer windows of all time.
Yeah, that is a good shout.
Yeah, really good shout.
Gary, how are you going to feel with that international break for so long?
It is what it is, isn't it? I mean, I'm not so as bad as Lee. I don't mind watching a bit of England, only solely because of Harry Kane, though. I'm not a big fan of Gareth Southgate. I just find him very predictable, boring, defensive and makes the substitutions too late. But I did watch England the other day, and I was at the edge of my seat when Harry Kane had the penalty, and I was jumping up and down when he scored it. So for me, I'll be all right. I'll just carry on, crack on. But obviously, my main love and passion is Tottenham, like all you guys. But I'm quite happy watching England and stuff. I'm excited. I mean, do I think we're going to go very far in the World Cup? Probably not. But let's see what happens. You never know. I'm just hoping these Nation League games are just a bit of fun, really, and he's just getting a bit of an idea, because if this is anything to go by, we ain't going to do very well. So,
I always find myself crossing my fingers as well that none of the players get injured.
Yeah, there is that as well. Obviously, and you see that a lot on social media. You've got mixed people. You've got people that want Harry Kane to play and beat the records, and then you've got a lot of other Tottenham fans that are angry and frustrated that he's playing because he could get injured then to not play for his club. I can see both sides of that. For me personally, one of the main reasons I watch England is because Harry Kane. And also, the reason why I'm a big England fan and I would love England to win something is because Harry Kane is the captain. And, if we was to win the Euros or the World Cup, how amazing would that be for Harry Kane to lift that trophy? It would be absolutely amazing. And that's why I wanted it in the Euros. And that's why I really got into it so much. Because for me, it is almost Tottenham Hotspur as well. Because you're hoping, because a lot of people tend to think Harry Kane's the captain for Tottenham. I don't know why he's not, but everyone thinks that. But, if we win a trophy for England, Harry Kane's going to lift that trophy. And then you get them down the road, Woolwich, and a lot of other clubs, let's face it, they can't really say... I mean, they still will say, oh, you ain't won nothing for your club. But could you imagine if we won the Euros or the World Cup? Could they really say anything to Harry Kane then? If he finished his career at Tottenham and didn't win anything? If we won the World Cup and he won it as the captain? Don't think they could they?
With Conte manager, I'm telling you, if Conte's here for the duration of his contract and more, that will not happen. Spurs will win a trophy.
No, I 100% agree with that as well. And I 100% agree with that, Richard. And that's why, all these shows we've done, I've always said Conte has to be the man. Like Lee said earlier as well, there is no one after Conte. You can't better Conte. So we have to do what we're going to do with Conte, and we've got him. And I think we will succeed. I think we will win a trophy. And I think, ironically, when we get that first one in the bag, I think it will go on from there. And I think top four will just come every season, and we'll get a couple of domestic cups here and there, and that'll be it. So,
well, talking about trophies and Harry Kane, there is currently an exhibition at the Museum of London called I Want to Play Football. It is well worth a visit. I actually went there last weekend, and to see Harry Kane's golden boots, his match-worn shirts, etc., it was unbelievable. So if anyone does get the chance, do go down there. It is free entry as well. Well worth a visit. Now, final question for you all, and you've kind of answered me already, Gary, so I'm going to go to Richard on this one first. How far do you see England going in the World Cup?
Oh, well, obviously everybody's kind of saying that we've got a great group draw with obviously Wales now in that, with obviously Iran and USA. I think we always flatter to deceive, and obviously the last World Cup, an easier kind of draw kind of dictated kind of getting really deep in the tournament. We obviously have some great players. The nucleus of the team is not just with the big four teams, which it has been in the past. Gareth Southgate does look like he's a good coach. Whether he's a great international coach, I'm not sure. Some of the decisions he does make are still questioned by fans and I think sometimes even the players. You look on the bench sometimes, and sometimes the substitutes that come on, they're looking in dismay. I would say we're just going to be a semi-finalist, I think. I don't think we're going to go any further than that. I really like watching England in the tournament. I'm a little bit with this Nations League. I'm not a massive fan. I just think, again, players are playing far too many games. You looked at the last England game, how many times did players go down, look like they're going to come off? There's 4 or 5 England players that looked like they were coming off with either muscle injuries or fatigue-based injuries. And for me, I'm just not sure if we've got that kind of real Italian kind of grit and quality that really takes them to obviously winning tournaments yet. With Maguire at centre-back, we ain't winning shit. That's what I'm just saying. I think he's useless. I honestly think Maguire, and John Stones is probably our best centre back, and I'm just going.
Well, let
why
me
is Eric Dyer?
How on earth is Eric Dyer not in the England squad?
Yeah.
That is another question.
Yeah, that's that. Don't get me started on that one as well. Now
he would start for England for me. He would start for England. Better than Mings, better than Maguire, better.
Yeah,
than
but
Stones.
why doesn't Jack Grealish start? I mean, that's another you bring him on with 15 minutes to go. He changed the whole game as soon as he comes on, but apparently he doesn't want to play him because he doesn't track back. Well, as soon as he comes on, I mean, if it weren't for Grealish, we wouldn't have got an equaliser anyway. It's frustrating, but that's Gareth Southgate. He's very safe and does his substitutions too late. But I don't want to bore you, Lee, because I know you don't watch England. So
no, listen, I do watch it. I do watch the tournaments. I'm not an anti England football fan. I do watch that, but I just failed to get really excited into it because we've been let down so often. And Gareth Southgate, he was the safe choice as an England manager, and he's going for the same things. That's why Maguire's in the team, because it's the safe thing to do. He plays for Man United. He must be good. He's not prepared to make those tough decisions. No, you're right. Not playing well enough, you're out. We move on, and every England manager has done the same thing, stuck with the same players even when they've been playing poorly.
I just don't know what his issue is with Jack Grealish either. It's so bizarre. It's really weird.
I think it's from what's name though, isn't it? When he was in the under-21s, when he was managing there, I think there was some kind of he was getting pissed all the time, or I think he was just
maybe it's a bit of that, isn't it? So just it's a bit like Hoddle and Gascoigne type thing, isn't it? I think it's something like that, really. So
and that was the best time to be an England fan, right? When Gascoigne was playing.
Oh, amazing!
That was the best time.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, Lee touched on that Italian night and stuff, and I mean that World Cup. I really thought we were going to do it, man. It was just we were so unlucky, man. It was gutting. It was gutting, but we're kind of. I always say to people, I'm used to it because I'm a Tottenham fan. So when it comes to England, if anyone can take a defeat and go out in a final or a semi, it's us, isn't it? So we're conditioned for it, isn't it? So,
well, Richard said semi-finals. Lee, what are you going with?
I would go to last 16.
Gary,
I'd probably go semi-finals. I'd agree with Richard, and I think sometimes England do surprise. In these kind of friendly type games and stuff, we're never that great, and then we get into the tournaments, we do tend to kick on. And look. We have got to a final and a semi-final. I mean, third time lucky, we could go one better. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would probably say semi-final as well, yeah.
Germany looked good, didn't they, the other night?
Yeah.
Always
Germany
do.
Looked good.
Always do.
Yeah, they did.
Always do.
Yeah.
Now, earlier today, this is the last point, by the way. Earlier today, Robbie Keane said it's only a matter of time before Antonio Conte wins trophies at Spurs. Now, I'm going to ask you all the last question of the show. Are the trophies coming? Gary?
They bloody better be, I'll tell you. Because
you know what the right reply is here, don't you? Of course they are.
Oh yeah. They need to. I mean, I don't know.
Along
You're going to be doing
Eriksen.
this. You're going to be doing this.
Along with that shirt.
When you're 105 and we're all going to be there and we're going to be like, oh, you remember that time we got to the final, we got to the semi, and we got this? And look, come on, it has to, man. If ever was going to win a trophy, it just has to be under Conte. And I think we don't set our sights too high. Let's try and get an FA Cup in there, anything like that, Carabao even, and just move on from there. I don't think we're going to win the Champions League. We're not going to win the Premier League, but there's no reason why we can't win one of them trophies. But I think that Daniel Levy. I know it's all about top four and everything else, but Daniel Levy, Conte, they'll be aware of Tottenham Hotspur and the trophy drought. It's been since 2008. They're not shooting. I mean, if you think, right, we won that FA Cup, right? I remember being at that game in 91 against Nottingham Forest, right? And now they're coming back into the league. I mean, it's just, when I think about it, I think 1991.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. We haven't won the FA Cup since then. I think we were the record holders at that point.
Yeah. 8 times.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. Look, so we've had these conversations over and over. It's long overdue. 2008 Carabao, we've come close. I mean, it really is. It's so frustrating. We've got top four, which is absolutely amazing. And I love that. But it just really annoys me when you get the Arsenal fans in particular, like, well, trophies. When's the last time you won a trophy? And what frustrates me about it is not that we haven't won the trophy, but yet we came so close to probably getting the biggest trophy ever with the Champions League, and we lost for a pretty rubbish Liverpool side as well. And I just think if we can get to the Champions League final with Poch, you know, we can definitely do it under Conte and we can win a trophy. You know, we can. We have to believe, don't we? We have to.
Yep.
Is that a yes? Is that a yes then?
Yeah.
Mate,
I'm gonna hang myself out and say yes.
Like politician there, I tell you.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get an answer out of some people, honestly. Yes or no?
It's just
the
pain.
pain to come on here and just say yes or no, Gary.
I can't when it comes to Tottenham and the trophy. It's too painful. It takes me back to the past. It's just so horrific.
You need some counselling, I tell you.
You know what? It's impossible to try and keep these podcasts to an hour. It really is.
No, it's not going to happen with me on that.
About.
Chris, I spoke for 10 hours in the car going to Rennes and back. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I run out of paracetamol, I'll tell you that. Rich, for someone who's won so many medals and trophies like you have, are we going to be seeing silverware very soon?
I think infrastructure-wise, it's looking more positive, isn't it? I think you like, obviously, training ground, stadium. The Conte has said, obviously, the infrastructure's here. We just need the team on the pitch. And in the past, we've had kind of lots of kind of players that have been nearlies. Pochettino did great with the side to get us to the Champions League final. I think inexperience cost us there. And he kind of banked on Kane winning us that final. I think he should have gone with form. And we were just really unlucky with it, with obviously the penalty and the dodgy referee decision. Mate, I was there. I was nearly crying after a minute. Yeah. And I think Conte is only at Spurs because Levy said, I'm backing you, and I believe we can, one, be competitive in the league. So challenging for the Premier League. I'm not saying we're going to win it. We will challenge for the Premier League next year. That's what I believe. And we can win a cup. But it is, you have to have the luck, don't you? You have to have
the luck as well.
Cup. Yeah, if you get like you look at Liverpool, they had the easiest run into the Champions League, and then they got found out against Real Madrid. That Liverpool were the better team, but they lost to Real Madrid because of how Real Madrid always stay in the game and then take their opportunities. I think we will win a trophy next year.
But you're right, Richard. You said luck, and you do need just a little bit of luck when you're talking about cups and stuff as well. In every game, you just need that little bit of luck, you know? Yeah,
for sure.
Rich, can I just ask you again? Did I hear right? You say you think we're going to challenge for the Premier League next season?
Listen. Conte
yes or no?
Is only
yes or no, Gary?
No, listen.
Can't do yes or no.
Conte is only at Spurs if the board show ambition to challenge for the league. That is what I believe. And so that's your answer.
So is that a yes or a no?
Conte is only at the club if the team yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe we'll be in the top 3 next season.
Yeah.
Lee, are the trophies coming? Please do not give me a politician's answer like
that. Yes, of course, Chris.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Lee, Gary, and Richard. It's been a fantastic show. Really enjoyed talking to the three of you. Gary, tell everyone where they can find you on social media and what you're up to at the moment.
Well, you can find me on Instagram. Give us a little ad and follow because I had my other account hacked a few months ago, which was very annoying. And apart from that, you can catch me on stage at the Dream Boys every Saturday night, but I don't think that would be your cup of tea. And that's about it, really. Other than that, I just love... I'm doing this thing at the moment now where I'm trolling AFTV and any Arsenal fan. And I'm going back through... I know, it's really sad. I'm going back through old games, right? And I'm like, for example, I watched the Newcastle-Arsenal game the other day. And then I'm just sending it to all the Arsenal fans, all the AFTV lot. And I'm back and forth doing boomerangs and stories. I just love it because I don't think we've really pressed enough on how good it was we finished 4th and they bottled it. I just thought that was absolutely amazing. And although it wasn't a trophy, it was pretty close to a trophy, wasn't it? I mean, if there was a trophy for bottlers, then definitely Arsenal would win it. So,
and Lee, thanks so much for coming on again, and tell everyone where they can find your YouTube and what content are you putting out at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much on all the socials. Leader Dorset Spur, you'll find me everywhere. I am doing my walking and talking about Tottenham every sort of couple of days. I put a video out. I'm just working on my new OnlyFans. It's called Lee the Chubby, the Chubby Spur. I haven't got a six-pack like Gary, so you know if you're into dad bods, I'll be your man. I'm off on holiday tomorrow.
I love one of your messages, though, Lee, that I saw on social media to Gary saying, how on earth can you eat all those sweets and still have a six-pack like you do?
I know, it's cutting.
It's the secret.
Not fair, is it? It's not fair.
It's the secret. It's the secret. I can't tell you all my answers.
I watch him eating Haribo and I get fatter. It's not fair.
And Rich, thanks so much for coming on again. And I will personally see you in a couple of weeks for your event, Run with Rich. Tell everyone about that again and how they can get involved.
Yeah, awesome. It's on the 25th of June. I'm on Instagram and obviously Twitter, like you all know. Follow me and also then enroll in the run. Me and Chris, some local athletes from Nottingham, like Lee Wood, world boxing champion, are going to be there. It's going to be a great event. It's fully inclusive. So if you don't run, it's a walk, jog, run event. Get behind the event. Want to see as many Spurs fans as possible, because some of my Arsenal mates are going to be there and we need to take the piss out of them.
Yeah.
So, as always, thanks, Chris. And everybody that's on the call today, please subscribe and like, obviously, the pod.
Thank you, Rich. Well, Lee, Gary, Rich, can't thank you enough. And thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as you've heard, Lee, Gary and Richard all say the trophies are coming. Until the next one, come on, you Spurs.
Thanks for watching the Spurs Chat Podcast, hosted by Chris Cowlin. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe. If you're watching this on an audio platform, please hit that follow button. Also, look out for other episodes on the channel, including daily Tottenham news editions, legend and celebrity interviews, and match previews. Please remember to check out the channel sponsors: William Hill, One Football, Live Football on TV, and Zooch Converters.